Welcome back, everybody. Marquis Devereaux, Verbal Assault Livestream, a political podcast that has, and somebody may need to mute their sound, a political podcast that has points of view from both sides of the equation, left and right. I'm your host, Marquis Devereaux, hearing more feedback. Nothing like a good Mercury retrograde to get things going for the week. I also have my co-host, Samuel Cachera. The feedback may be coming from his side. I don't know. I've always teased him about having a sort of bootleg laptop. And then I have Ms. Cherokee Black. I'm laughing because I don't know why this is happening.
I don't know. It's not me. It's very crazy.
That's okay. That's okay. Sam is coming from Connecticut. Julius is coming, or he might not be coming, and God bless him, you know. Cuomo versus Trump. You know, I pulled up 3 questions. Samuel, I'm sure we'll have plenty of feedback. We've had, from what I understand, just recently, we had 11 deaths, and we had 900 hospitalizations. So the observation is that the numbers in New York have went down dramatically. We have entered into what is supposed to be phase 3. Now here in New York, phase 3 was supposed to involve eating in restaurants, being able to go to the gym, being able to book a reservation at a hotel. As a result of an increase in states like Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, Missouri, which I'm now going to refer to as misery, and all these other states, their numbers are going up, 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 up. So now the governor of New York, Cuomo, has decided, and the mayor of New York City, Mayor de Blasio, Cuomo is expected to run for higher office for the presidency, perhaps in 2020, as a Democratic nominee. And de Blasio ran in 2016. De Blasio campaigned after 2016 to become a Democratic nominee. He didn't go very far, never gathered more than 1%. But the bottom line is
nobody likes him.
Okay, New York and Cuomo and de Blasio, both of Italian American descent, have not seen eye to eye in the handling of this. Yet New York as a whole has managed to contain what's happening. So, Samuel, my question to you is, why are other states not following New York's track record here? If it works somewhere else, let's see if we can do what they're doing to get it in line.
I think one part of it would be what you just said. Like, the governor is meant to delegate as much as he possibly can, and then leave the responsibility to the different councils or cities or towns or something, or mayors. And you just said one key point, which was de Blasio and Cuomo are not seeing eye to eye.
Right. So, speak a little bit louder and a little bit closer if you can. You're such a good-looking guy. I want to see you and hear you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Cuomo and de Blasio not seeing eye to eye. This is a big issue because, in fact, de Blasio is doing a lot of things that a lot of people don't like.
Give us some examples of what you think those things are.
Well, number one, he's taken taxpayer dollars, and for no reason, he would justify it in his own way, but he's taken taxpayer dollars to put Black Lives Matter written on the streets, because he wanted to follow the same suit as what Washington, D.C. did, right?
Okay, but now let's not change the subject, my brother. Now let's hold on now.
I was answering your question. You asked me, what do I think that why do people not agree with him? And so I'm giving you an answer. That was the first thing that popped in my mind. All right? Now, since Cuomo and de Blasio are not seeing eye to eye, you want other states to follow. But the ultimate responsibility, I believe, lies on the governor. Maybe Julius will be able to attest to this. But the ultimate responsibility lies on the governors. And then from the governors, then it relies on the administration. It's hard for other states to follow when this state New York is in such disarray.
But this sidetracks from my original question. The numbers are going down in New York in relation to the COVID-19 crisis. They are increasing in every other state, especially the red-leaning states. People don't want to wear masks. People don't want to social distance. People still want to be able to go to the beach. Something is working
right there.
Something is working in New York. That
I think
is
you're
not
answering your question.
so.
People
So my
don't know
question
what
is,
People
go ahead,
don't wanna
Julius,
social
because I
distance.
think we're getting
So
lost
go
in
ahead, Sam. What were you
translation.
saying? I
Okay,
want to hear what
so
Sam.
People don't want to wear masks. People don't want to social distance. Yeah, the beaches in New York, I believe, are still closed. I'm not 100%
No,
sure.
they're open.
no, they're open.
Okay, all right. But still, people don't want to wear masks. People don't want to social distance.
And they want to, you know, it's a mask or ventilator. I've been on a ventilator. It is not a
Okay.
good thing. I've been on life support. I'd
But we're
rather
not-
wear-
But we're not getting an answer to the question, Samuel. You said that New York is in disarray, but the disarray has meant that the COVID deaths, the contracting of the virus is going down. I'm wanting to know what is working in New York that is not being implemented in other states.
I'm going to tell you, Marcus.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, Julius. You got the floor.
We have a lot of people in New York City. So we're not testing over 10% of that number. That's number one. And you know what? A lot of people are now avoiding the hospital, you know, altogether because, you know, so many people died.
I know.
And so that's a reason why you see the death rate down, because people aren't going to the hospital to get killed. And New York City was doing it wrong. The ventilator was not the answer. And Cuomo was screaming at the top of his lungs, we need ventilators, ventilators, ventilators. And then on the second breath, he said, 1 out of 5 won't come off of it. You know, so, and that was true. And I heard other doctors from various hospitals say that they went about it the wrong way. That they were putting people on ventilators and they shouldn't have. Now, you couple that with the fact that Medicare pays $13,000 for a COVID patient. And if you go on the ventilator, they pay $39,000.
Oh dear, please don't say this. Are you
yes.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
You're saying that, oh my goodness, you're basically saying that, again, it comes down to money, because when we find out, and it's the same thing with HIV, when we find out with diabetes that certain medications are very, very expensive, suddenly we're doing something underhanded to boost those numbers up.
Yeah, and you know, also when you get a COVID test, they don't have a copay, so they just want to get that money from Medicare. So they're not gonna, if you know that you got a copay for 20%, you know, you're gonna not want to get tested because that 20%, you know, could be too much for you. So these clinics, they're telling people, you know, you don't have to copay. They're just taking the 80%. These clinics, City MD and Modern MD and all these other places.
Right, because doctors' offices are not opening. A lot of doctors' offices aren't open yet. My primary care said that she's not going to be back in the office till December or January.
No, but for Cherokee, if you went to get a test like 5 years ago for anything, you know, if you're using Medicare, you would still have to pay the 20% copay unless you have another form of insurance.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Right. So they've eliminated that.
Okay.
So now it's very easy for me to go get tested, knowing I don't have to worry about the 20%.
Julius,
so they're
now
making money off testing people then.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Wow.
But keep in mind, Julius, you want to add one more thing?
Yeah, if you have COVID and you're being treated, right? They will get $13,000 from Medicare. Medicare agreed, they set the number that they would be willing to pay. So it's $13,000. If you go on a ventilator, Medicare pays $39,000 for that COVID patient.
All right.
So it's very,
Else.
I want to interject here, and I want to say that today's original topic is Cuomo versus Trump and sort of the handling of the COVID crisis. Cuomo has been very, very critical of the president. The president has been very, very critical of Cuomo. Recently, they have become frenemies because something in New York is working. Now, when I say New York, I'm referring to New York State. Now, keep in mind, folks, that Samuel had returned from China as an American citizen, and I was one of the first people that came in contact with Samuel. So naturally, I said, let's play it safe. Let's go get that test. For a while, New York City did not offer that test whatsoever.
Right.
To this day, New York City is offering free tests to anybody that wants one, as long as you sign up. My
now,
question.
when you say free, even Harlem Hospital, they want to charge my Medicare. If you have insurance, they are charging your insurance company.
Okay, now let's be clear.
Free.
Let's be clear.
Free.
Nothing is ever free, but to the average citizen, they could walk in and they could get the test. So I stand clarified.
No. If you have Medicaid, Medicare, they're charging them.
Right.
Okay. And if you don't, my understanding is that you can still get the test.
Well,
New York City is saying that no one will now.
Because I went, and I acted like I didn't have insurance at first, and they sent me away.
Oh,
with the story.
Okay.
When?
Not okay, actually.
When, Julie?
Samuel, you wanted to add?
When was that?
Yes. When was
one second. Samuel, you wanted to add?
About maybe before I left for Mississippi. So it was around a week. It was May 11th, somewhere around there.
Yeah, maybe that was in the time
May
when we
11th.
were trying to balance and set everything up. But I believe, and I'm not in New York at the moment, but I believe anywhere and everywhere, everyone is able to get tested free.
Okay.
Mostly everyone, if you don't have private insurance or Medicare, I would say most of the people do have Medicaid.
Okay, but guys, we're still missing the basic premise of my question. Whatever's going on in New York's chaos, as we call it, in disarray, the numbers went down. The numbers are still trending downward. And there might have been a slight bump a day or two ago. But my question remains today on this Tuesday, the 14th of July, is why are the states not following New York's lead?
Well,
and Samuel, you were
it.
down in Mississippi, Julius, and
Right.
Samuel's in Connecticut. I understand that Connecticut is trending downward, but Mississippi is trending upward.
Well, there were a couple of counties where they had spikes, not all, but maybe 4 counties they did spike. And so now Governor Reeves is putting other measures in place that would probably bring those numbers down.
Okay, so no one here really understands why other states are still dealing with this. No one here really understands.
They're still going. In states, they're still going to the beach. They're going to the restaurant. They're hanging out in bars. They're doing things that they were told not to do. They're not social distancing. Those people are having surges in the disease.
All right.
New York people have been pretty conservative until the protests
New
started.
York conservative, unheard of.
What'd you say?
New York conservative, unheard of, as I look to Samuel.
I'm talking about conservative and they're taking care of themselves. I'm not talking about politically. I'm talking about they're following, most New Yorkers are following protocol.
Conservative is conservative. Go ahead.
But Cherokee, do you know that they said that there was no spike in COVID due to the protesting?
Yeah, I noticed that. I've heard that. Yes.
Which is odd.
But there's still time because a lot of the spikes that happened recently were from Memorial Day. So there's still time because those protests were recent.
All righty. So next question is, first week of February were initial cases. Cherokee, the question was, why are we still battling? And you're saying people are going to beaches. Let's see, February, March, April, May, June. Guys, 6 months.
People want to get out. I want to go to the beach. Listen,
Okay.
we've been isolated for a long time. It's
in New York.
That people, yes, I see that. You've seen Columbus Avenue. The bars, they're giving drinks outside and eating outside. They're eating in the middle of Columbus Avenue. Like
now, for our international listeners, Columbus Avenue is in New York County in Manhattan, New York City. Samuel, Samuel, you've been in the house, my brother. You're outside of a major city. You're outside of someplace very close to Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport is not that far from Hartford, Connecticut, the insurance capital. How are you feeling about being indoors?
I'm fine. Some people can
You're
handle
fine.
it. Yeah, some people can handle it. Some people cannot. I'm fine.
Okay. You were indoors in China.
I stayed indoors in China as well. When Corona broke out, I stayed indoors as well.
Okay. What is the difference between China's handling versus US's handling? Because you have said in the past, China's not giving real numbers. What we're hearing on the news is that states are going up. And right now in New York State, I can't sit inside of a restaurant and have a pizza pie and a pitcher of soda. Impossible. Not allowed. The state mandate is not allowing it. What is happening?
The air conditioning can spread the particles.
Right.
If some coughs and stuff like that. People take their masks down when they're eating,
Right.
and it's not safe to be inside because of the air conditioning. In the winter, it would be the heating vents. It's not safe. It's
Okay.
just safe.
Alrighty.
When you're on the bus, the window should be opened.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I was on the bus the other day to number 7, and people were getting on the bus with no mask, and no one was saying anything. I got off the bus.
So I'm going back to Samuel because both of you chimed in, Julius and Cherokee. The Georgia governor, okay, Georgia has Atlanta, Savannah, all those wonderful places, will not mandate masks, will not do it. Cases are increasing nationally. Samuel, is this a national crisis?
It's always been a national crisis politically, but
Politically,
it's the national crisis. This thing is bad. We know that, but I think it's more bad politically because if you're going to I'd like to make comparisons and say like the flu, for example, which is a strain of the coronavirus. Yeah, the coronavirus have many strains. I think, as I understand, it could be thousands. But
well, the coronavirus, is it not a strain of the flu?
That's what he said. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard something else. Okay, go ahead.
Actually, it's a little reversed. I believe it's coronavirus has many strains. We're calling them simply flu. So these are flu strains.
Okay, understood. So you meant what you said. I apologize. Go ahead, please.
Oh, good. Forgiven. So COVID-19 is just one strain of the flu or coronavirus, COVID-19, yeah? It's just one strain. The one that's been most popular is the one where they just keep saying, have you had your flu shot? Right? Now, this has been going on for, I don't know, 50 years plus.
And I'm not taking that shot. I don't trust what they're
I'm
putting
not taking it anymore.
Me neither.
Since I learned a lot since this virus, this Miss Rona arrived, I'm never taking the flu shot again.
I
But
agree
now,
with you.
but Cherokee, you're a left-leaning voter. Samuel's a right-leaning voter. And I've heard people on both sides of the equation say, I'm sorry, Fauci, no. Bill Gates, nope. I'm not taking that shot. I don't trust what you're putting in my body.
Right.
It should
Even
be
Trump doesn't trust a Bill Gates vaccine.
Who?
Trump,
You said
President Trump. He's not for a Bill Gates backed vaccine.
That's good.
okay. So let's see. In
Anything
the
Bill
U.S.
Gates
That was
has to
surprising,
do-
but that's true. Trump does not.
that is.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's-
guys, I'm gonna give you some numbers. 1 second, I'm gonna give you some numbers. There have been approximately half of a billion deaths, 555,000 plus deaths reported worldwide in the U.S., and 133 people have died of COVID-19 as of July 10th. Now, today is the 14th. Okay. So in the U.S. from October 1 to April
Today is
4,
12, honey. Today is 12.
the CDC estimates
Oh, the 14th, you're right.
24,000 to 62,000 died from the flu. The CDC does not know the exact number because the flu is not a reportable disease. Maybe this is part of our problem. The COVID-19 situation is changing rapidly since the disease is caused by a new virus. I can continue reading, but I'm not going to. Because
May I
I'm
just
still,
summarize?
yeah, pretty well
Yeah,
summarized.
yeah. I think that the government is doing a good job with this sort of education. The education being sanitize, wear your mask, and social distancing, right?
So we're doing a good job on the education.
Yes. However, we're lacking one thing. From the beginning, we know that the issue is with the immune system. So why aren't
Yes.
they telling us? Why aren't they educating us and saying continue to eat foods that will build your immune system? That will
Because that does not, because pharmaceuticals are a big corporation, and the sicker we get, the more money we'll pay for pharmaceuticals, and eventually we'll die. They're killing us, basically. Okay,
Understood.
we should be taking supplements. We should be eating having the proper diets. You know, turmeric. There are different things that will help our immune system that will protect us.
Okay.
They're not telling us that.
Let me jump to Julius for a minute. Julius, I'm hearing Bill Gates. I'm hearing Donald Trump. At one point, I was hearing Michael Bloomberg. It sounds like the battle of the billionaires.
Yeah.
Jeff
Michael
Bezos' name
Bloomberg
will
is
come in every now and then.
step with Bill Gates. Michael Bloomberg is with Bill Gates.
Is he?
Yes.
They're all part of the eugenics thing anyway. And they're
Right.
and
So Trump
Gates
is not
and
down with that.
Zuckerberg and Gates and Zuckerbergs are Rockefellers, robber barons. So it's all about promoting and raising up the privilege and putting everybody else like we're the workers. Basically, that's how they look at us.
So Samuel,
they don't care about us.
So Samuel, how do you respond to Cherokee when she mentions eugenics? And eugenics, for those that aren't clear in the audience, our listeners and viewers, is considered something that is designed to sort of to purify, for lack of a better word, or eliminate races that are not, or genes that are not considered pure. And for those of you that need some more clarity, basically, there's some people that consider the Caucasian race and Caucasian genetics superior. We all come from Africa, so what's the problem? Samuel, do you have a comment on that?
For one thing, I would like to say, and don't take this to heart, but just for lack of a better word or terminology, this is called conspiracy. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So, yes, it is. And so I've addressed you in the past that we should do programming on this. Yeah, because it's important, right? It is important to have the discussion.
It's not conspiracy if you can verify the information, though. It's not a conspiracy if you can. Eugenics is verifiable.
Okay,
that movement is verifiable.
But Black Lives Matter could be a conspiracy, right? They're out there, fist in the air. You got rioting, and you've got people getting killed. Like,
Well, the last time I checked, I don't know what I was aspiring to do when I said I wanted to live as a Black person. So, you know, the conspiracy part, I have a harder time making the connection. But Samuel, I will acknowledge Erica Encarnacion, who was a known researcher, often went into these conspiracy trajectories on our show.
and
We've had
Kirk-
listeners that have said, who is that person? Where does she come from? And Cherokee, you have mentioned people have said to you, who is that contributor and why? Where?
She's not someone. She everything that she reads, everything, without logically reading between the lines. She believes things that she reads on Facebook, when a lot of the stuff on Facebook is conspiracy theories and propaganda and stuff and sensationalism.
So you know, we could have Kirk Adair on the show, and Kirk Adair has done documentaries about UFOs,
right.
And some people consider UFO sci-fi. This program, this platform is being designed to discuss current relevant issues that can be debated with hard facts, and we're allowed to agree to disagree or agree to agree.
The difference between her and Kurt is that Kurt has, we can look up and find proof of what he's saying. Now, it's not that far-fetched. Chances
are Nurka Encarnacion is listening to this podcast.
Yes.
Hello, Nurka, because I'm sure you're listening. She has decided that she will not be on the show anymore because of some things that were discussed last week that were very, very uncomfortable, and I understand that. She didn't reach out to me and mention that she wasn't going to be on the show, but she felt more comfortable in reaching out to another right-wing voice. We've also had some people on the left that will not be back on the show. Speaking openly and speaking honestly is very, very challenging when your point of view gets questioned. And I say that one has to be very, very confident and has to be able to back up what they say with tangible intelligence. Today's conversation is Cuomo versus Trump. Many people have questioned the intelligence of Trump. I can go on YouTube right now, and we're now at a point that the poor guy's sister-in-law, and I'm going to say the poor guy because his reputation is taking hit beyond hit beyond hit. The poor guy's niece has now come out with a book after a national security advisor came out with a book. Now, when you have a family member that's coming at you and they know things that other people don't know, it's hard to fight against that. And so I say all of this because Mary Trump, Trump's niece, does not feel, she's the daughter of Fred Trump Jr., Trump's father, does not feel the country is going in the right direction. And she's a woman who has a PhD in psychology. And she criticizes our commander-in-chief.
She grew up with him. She knows his, pathologies.
Yeah. Samuel, you and I have went back and forth, and you've always teased me about being a Trump basher. But I've met Trump a couple of times personally. I'm from New York State. I know his modus operandi. I've seen it. I've spoken with unhappy people. And now this COVID-19 situation, people are going like flies, baby. And you know what? If in New York, I have to deal with rats and roaches, but now I've got to deal with flies. Samuel, what makes you so pro-Trump during a crisis like the COVID-19 crisis? Because we're still dealing with an increase in states. I need to know where the national leadership is coming from, because something is not working. Only the U.S. and Brazil are dealing with the problem on this level, and both have right-leaning presidents. You would wanted to add, Samuel?
You're asking me, why am I pro-Trump? Is that right?
I'm asking you, with what you are observing, what now makes you continue to be pro-Trump? I legitimately want to understand the right's point of view and loyalty to things that would be questionable for anybody else.
As I've said time and time again, every president, when they're running their campaign to become president, they will say something that will get someone's attention.
Yes.
And Trump said, why isn't anybody going after China? I'm going to go after China. When he said that, that's what got me.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. That makes sense. China is a formidable, you know, I don't want to just come right out and say enemy, but it's a formidable, the word is just not coming to me.
Competitor.
Adversary. The word I'm going to use is adversary.
Adversary, competitor, frenemy, doesn't matter. I'm happy with
all of the above. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So look, so that's what made me want Trump.
Okay.
Right? That's why I'm pro-Trump, because I've been in China for lengthy periods of time since 2008, and I know what's on their mind. Yeah, including the racism, including their plans for changing the world, taking over the world, etc. So that's why I'm there. Yeah. So you're asking me my loyalty to him even at this point.
Because audience members on the left don't understand the right's steadfast commitment to a person that would denigrate women, a person that said that Mexico is going to pay for the wall, and Mexico hasn't paid for anything. In that regard, the children separated at the border. We're seeing a series of things, but when you have the hospitalizations and the deaths increasing, something is not working. And I'm wanting to know who takes responsibility and says, let's right the ship. Who takes responsibility? And I think we're past the point of blaming it on individual states when 3/4 of the U.S. is having an increase.
First of all, when you say, you act like things are failing, right? The man has changed the course of the country, the course of the economy. The man has changed even many things for the Black citizens of the U.S. Yeah,
really?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Cherokee, you had a question in regard?
No, I haven't finished. No. Go ahead, Cherokee. I'd like to hear what you want to say.
No, go ahead. I just disagree with that. When you say that he's improved things for Black people, I disagree with that. I'm looking at something now that says that Florida just shattered the national record with 15 cases of COVID today.
Yeah. What's that got to do with Black people?
That's
wait a minute.
We were talking about Trump and Cuomo, actually.
Right. But
I just disagreed with that one point. I don't want to have a confrontation, Sam. Continue.
1 second, Julius. Do you agree with what Samuel's saying on any level?
I think that Trump is doing a lot for Black people, and the media. Whenever you read an article, and it's a negative headline, most people, they don't read the actual article. They put this article out saying that John Lewis died, and everyone is rest in peace and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's
if you read the article. Huh?
I said when the media says that somebody dies, or even when it's on Facebook, you have to verify that before you say rest in peace and all that, because most of the time.
But even the articles that are out on Trump, and they're negative, when you actually read the article itself, it says just the opposite of what the headline is.
But you know something? I want you both. Okay, every person here is of mixed race. Most of us identify as African American, if not all of us. I want you guys to list the positive things that Trump is doing for Black people. Now keep in mind that tomorrow's show is about Black Lives Matter, as now being termed a hate organization by the commander-in-chief. And now, I don't know if I'm going to call him a commander or a divider, because I got problems with that.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you know who the fiscal sponsor is of Black Lives Matter.
– I'm not even concerned. I don't care. I'm not even
Well,
interested.
No, we need to care because the group has been infiltrated by Antifa and other
The
groups.
Black Panther has
And
been infiltrated. I still
they-
stand behind the Black Panther.
And they need, well, the Black Panthers actually did some wonderful things, like they created free breakfast programs. They did some things that people don't
And
even
Black
talk.
Lives Matter has done wonderful things, but we're still denigrating them. And I want to know, but hold on, we're not going to shift here. We're going to come back. I want to know what Trump has done for Black people because we're all people of color. And I need to understand.
Why don't you wait till tomorrow? That's for tomorrow's show. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Am I putting the cart before the horse?
You're putting the days. You're changing your days, man. You're changing your days.
Okay, well, at least I said a horse and not an ass. But okay, let's go back. Julius, you were saying that Trump has done some good things. This virus,
he's given the most money ever from a president to historically Black universities.
Okay, and thank you.
That's one thing.
That's a wonderful
And then another thing,
thing
his immigration policy actually benefits Blacks, to be honest.
Okay.
Because, whenever you go to a construction site, and if you see non-Mexicans, that's a union job. And you will often see Black construction workers. When you get a non-union job, you'll see Mexicans and you see no Blacks.
Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear and let's be honest. We're no longer talking about Mexico. We're talking about Mexico. We're talking about Panama. We're talking about, come on, Nicaragua. We're talking about Chile. We're talking about Colombia. We're talking about all of the Central American, Costa Rica, and South American countries. Anything that is below the southern border of the U.S., that's what we're talking about. Those construction workers come from all of those countries, correct? Not just Mexico.
No, those construction workers don't come from all these other countries.
So they're not coming from
basically, they come from undocumented workers.
Right, which are coming from Panama, Costa Rica, and I can name a bunch of other Central American countries.
It's mostly Mexico and other Central American countries.
So we're in agreement. Mostly Mexico with Central America. Okay, continue, please.
But mainly Mexican.
Okay. I may not agree, but go ahead.
Now, I want to say this to you about getting back to the fiscal sponsor of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, who's that?
Thousand Currents is the fiscal sponsor because Black Lives Matter, they don't have a 501c3.
Now, my brother, I want to be clear to you that this is tomorrow's subject.
Okay.
So I want you on tomorrow's show. Don't mess with me. You hear me?
Oh, yeah, you have to be here tomorrow. Please.
Who are you saying that to, Chucky?
I'm talking to Julius.
Oh.
So please be on tomorrow's show. Because you have a lot of information.
How are you going to be from the Nation of Islam and talk about Black Lives Matter and not be on the Black Lives Matter show?
Okay.
Okay. So we get him for Wednesday's show. But
Can you also see me?
But we're missing something, guys. Something is missing here. The Black and brown communities and the elder communities have suffered more from the spread of this virus. How is this helping the Black and brown and elder communities when we're not combating this thing? Korea is no longer dealing with this. Germany is no longer dealing with this. Hell, we had a Pacific Islander country, was it Singapore? They're no longer dealing with this. The United States and Brazil are still having a problem. There's no mandates coming from the top. There's no mandates. So I've got 50 people in the classroom and there's a fire and everyone's running around. Everyone's running around. And only 2 or 3 people are saying, let me cover my face with a wet towel so I'm not breathing in the smoke.
Marquis.
The rest of the country is saying, let me run out into the hall where the fire is so I can let the smoke into the classroom.
Marquis.
And only someone is smart enough to say, let's open the window, let's come up with an escape plan. Do you follow me, Julius?
Yes.
Do I make sense?
Give me a second.
Well, who's coming up with that escape plan?
That's what I'm asking. Who the hell is coming up with the escape plan when the building is on fire? The United States is on fire with this COVID-19 pandemic, okay?
We're on fire because the only reason we're on fire is because you know we're on fire. And the reason you know we're on fire is because we do the most testing. That's why we know we're on fire.
Right.
Had the testing stopped, the only time that you would know we're on fire is when someone goes to the hospital because they're ill. And then they've got to be tested for that reason of somewhat the flu symptoms or flu-like symptoms. That's the only reason we know we're on fire. Cut out the testing and you won't know.
So we shouldn't be testing. We should just be silent.
I didn't say that. But the reason that you all are getting upset, you all being you, Marquis, saying that this is really we're on fire and all it is because we know we're on fire, and the reason we know is because we're doing all the testing.
Okay, my brother.
Excuse
me. My brother.
I think that the testing should be held for people that actually feel sick and go to the hospital to see what's going on. I don't think that there should be like open testing, like anybody can drop in and look. I think it buys into the fear of COVID. I think it makes people more fearful. I'm not going to get, actually my doctor did make me go check for the antibodies because I have asthma and I have a compromised immune system. So my doctor suggested it. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
Do you have it?
I don't, and I haven't had the virus. I did the blood test. I'm not letting, you can't do that to me. I'm just saying.
Okay. So just for clarity's sake, Samuel, I'm not upset. I'm just not comfortable with dead bodies, and unfortunately, I'm getting a 5-minute signal. So we're going to taper this down. Let me just say to our audience, Samuel Kuchera, my co-host, has said, "Well, Marquis, you're upset." I don't take the death of Americans lightly, nor do I take pandemics lightly, and I'm not saying that anyone does, it's just that I don't. So if I'm asking a question over and over again, it's because the question is still not being answered in a way that I feel offers clarity to our audience. We're experiencing something in the United States, and we're experiencing something in Brazil that's very, very unfortunate. 2 very, very populated countries. And unfortunately, one of the countries has 1 megapolis, and the other country has about 3 or 4 megapolises. And so if we're not able to get this thing under control, we'll be dealing with this again and again and again. And so many years ago, we dealt with the Spanish flu. The year was 1918. People wore masks, people separated, people didn't congregate. Something is working in New York. Something's not working in the rest of the country. Should we continue testing, or should we just wait until we get sick? When the hospital beds are full, the question is already answered. People are getting sick. Something needs to be done somewhere. I thank you all for tuning into Verbal Assault live stream. Tomorrow's subject is, and I usually have these things in front of me. So tomorrow's subject is Black Lives Matter. A mural is to be painted on 5th Avenue in front of Trump Tower. Okay, I got 4 African Americans on this program right now. They're really kind of mixed race, but you know, we all identify as African American, and it's a beautiful thing. Talking about BLM, okay, and some people might call it BM, but it doesn't matter. Tune in to Verbal Assault live stream. I'm your host, Marquis Devereaux, and we look forward to having you on tomorrow's program for Wednesday. Bye-bye.